Okay, Sali, H. Gonna play a Sicilian. I think I'll go for the con Sicilian. Get away from the classical that I always play. Something new. So the con Sicilian is this funny bowl-shaped pawn structure, and then you put the queen in here. And you set the queen in the middle of the bowl. It's all safe here from knight jumps. And it also stops this pawn from coming forward, so you can develop a knight here. That's about all I've gotten out of this. Yeah, it's often an idea to bring the bishop out here to hit the loose knight. The way white is playing, this is the recommended move to play against the con. It's a good square for the bishop. When the pawn does come forward, it opens up a diagonal for it. Okay, I will unpin there. Actually, I should have, yeah, too quick. I should have put the bishop here first, which usually causes them to move the knight, then drop the bishop back here. But there is this question of what to... yeah, what if he had taken the knight? So I go here, he takes the knight. If I take the knight, he takes back. The bishop is actually protecting this knight, so I have to take with the pawn. Okay, so he's going for a quick F4, F5, maybe, or maybe E5. Anyway, I'm planning to put my bishop here. Gang up on that pawn. Okay, he just takes out that knight. Opens up this nice diagonal for my bishop. There's a weakness here, of course. Yep, so we'll go here. Maybe bishop here next, then queen here. Ah, I see, that was his point. He put the knight there. Yeah, I don't want to trade off the bishop. Maybe I will trade, I will end up trading anyway, but I can still put something, the queen here, the bishop here. But it's not a threat anymore because the knight is defended, not an immediate threat. It's he unpins. He unpins. Okay, so I could take there. I could just attack it. See what his plan is. So he's going to drop the knight in here, I guess, hitting my bishop and threatening to park his knight on this square, which would be annoying, I have to admit. So I'm going to take with a pawn so I can put a rook here. Oh, I never got castled in this game. A bit unusual for me. But there always seemed something more important to do somehow. Yeah, so I'm expecting knight here, bishop back, knight here, check. Move the king. Probably take. He takes with the pawn. I'll just blockade with the queen, bring a rook over, castle, that kind of thing. So it doesn't seem to lead to much for white. On the other hand, I don't have much here either. It's a good knight. He can just leave it there. I will castle. Then when he comes here, it's not with check, and then I can put a rook here. That will be nice for me. But maybe he can do something with his good knight. He needs to get his other pieces involved, though. Getting the queen there, yeah. So let's castle. And let's oppose along the central file here. Okay, so the next step is to harass his knight a little bit. Push this pawn and put the queen here. Trying to decide whether to defend or move. Well, if he comes here, I'll just take it. If he goes back, that's certainly plausible. A plausible option. Say knight back to here and then to here, threatening mate. It just goes there directly. Yeah, I'm just going to take that. Or am I? I mean, I could kick it. Pawn here. Where does he go? If he takes here or here, I can just take him. Or he goes back here or here. I think I just take it. It's too complicated. He opens up a file. Okay, so I wonder, I could put my rook here and threaten to double. If I just take, it brings his rook to the open file, which is not so great. If I bring my queen out here, he can chase it with the rook. I can bring my queen back here. Let's see. Yeah, it's a bit annoying that his queen is exactly opposite my king like this, so it means I can't really play moves like that, because when he takes, I take, he takes with check. It's pretty annoying. I guess I will take it. And I'll drop back here, hitting this pawn and preparing to blockade like so. Oh, that's interesting. Is he threatening to take this pawn? Not really. Not really, because this threatens mate. Oh, it doesn't threaten mate. It does not threaten mate, because his queen is guarding that square. Well, now I have an option here to take with the queen. He can take here with check. He didn't. He can still take there with check. Force the rooks off, and then he will be a pawn up. Let's gather up as many pawns as we can. Okay, my king is behind the pawn, so that's where it should be. Here, let's see if we can bring the king up. Keep his king out. Dangerous. He decided not to go for it. I wanted him to take that pawn so I could take this one and come over here with check. If he wants a draw, I'll give him a draw. Okay. He just did this. He just lost the tempo there for no particular reason. Okay, so this was my plan. I go here, threatening this check. Drives his king a little bit further away. And I take the pawn. I'm probably still losing because it's just one pawn. And his king is in a good position. Couldn't drive his king far enough away to turn that into a win. Let's see if he knows how to defend. He does. We'll just head directly for a draw. That's the way to do it. You drop straight back. You blockade the king. You step in front of the pawn. And black can't really make any progress. So he got a draw. That's after several wins, he managed to sneak a draw. Here, let's see if we can play a rapid game here. Okay, d4. I could just go directly with d5. We did a Nimzo last time. We can do a Slav this time. The 1 hour gambit. We're playing someone who's rated 2042. Let's see if he knows how to handle this gambit. I think it's better if you don't take, although this also seems to work pretty well for white. The exchange over here weakens a center pawn. Okay, so all this is standard so far. Yeah, okay, now is where I have to decide what I want to do. He's going to bring a knight out, attacking my queen and attacking the pawn. I guess I will try and hold on to this pawn. It kind of cramps his position. And I have, from experience, discovered it's better to put the queen on this square rather than this one. Don't remember the exact details, but seemed to get into trouble there. Knight there. Well, I can just go back. I mean, the problem with this square is the knight's in the queen is in front of the bishop. I could go over here though. Where is his knight going? Here, 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 here. Maybe coming into this square. How about the other knight? Well, when I go here, the other knight can't attack my queen because I'll take this knight. This light squared bishop isn't out yet. Yeah, I mean, technically this gambit is still good for white. There is no perfect gambit, but well, it creates some interesting play, and there are some problems for white to solve here. So how am I going to defend that? Okay, so now I can attack my queen. Going here or here, I can take it. But if he goes here, let's develop the bishop. Prepare to castle. See if he wants to harass my queen some more. I think I got a slightly better version of this than usual. Ah. So this is okay. This kind of pawn damage is what you're usually looking for. Yeah. And white can still play this position, so it's not like something has gone wrong. Now, if I put my knight here, it restricts my queen. So I think I will... I could consider pinning this knight, but he could play the knight here, hitting my queen. I take his queen, he takes my queen. It looks like it's better for him. So anyway, what I think I will do is put the knight here, so that my queen has more squares to run to, and get castled. So now let's attack. So we attack this pawn. Shall we pin this knight first? So I go here, and he unpins by playing knight here, attacking my queen. Take his queen, he takes my queen. So I've got a bishop here. He's got a knight here hitting my rook. I take his knight, he takes my bishop. That all just kind of dissolves to nothing. If instead I attack this pawn, which is pinned, let's see if there's a weakness there. This knight is loose, so there might very well be a weakness, but it is threatening to take something. So he defends and attacks my bishop. Also unpinned his knight, which I hadn't pinned, but no potential pin there. So 2 attackers, 2 defenders. Maybe I could put a rook on it. Ah, he unpinned. He unpinned just in time. So if I put a rook here, he can just push the pawn forward. Yeah, where does the knight go when he pushes that pawn forward? Actually, it doesn't have too many good squares. Okay, well now I can put some pressure on that knight, and there's no backfire. When he hits my queen, my bishop is still... I can just move my queen. The bishop is not hanging. Okay, do I want to take with the queen or the pawn? If I take with the queen, he might trade queens. So let's take with the pawn. Keep the queens on for now. Yeah, there it goes. That was the problem. So if the knight comes here and he attacks my queen, am I trapped? How about I take the knight first? That way he can't attack my queen with that knight. If he takes the knight, I can take back with the bishop. So he has to take my bishop either with a pawn or a rook, I guess. And then my knight can safely come here. Because it won't be trapping my queen. Need to activate my rooks. I want to put a rook here. The other rook here. Yep, so he takes with the rook. I drop the knight back. I'm ganging up on this pawn now. I have the same color bishop, so it's not a draw. Oh, this pawn is hanging. I just noticed that. When I brought the knight back here, it blocked my queen's defense of the c-pawn. So he takes anyway, and defends this guy at the same time. So rook here, at least I can develop this rook with tempo. See if he wants to continue to move the queen to a square that defends the pawn. And we can attack the pawn here. Yep, so I want to here we go. I can move this rook here with tempo. But he'll go bishop c3, I guess. Yeah, so I go here, he goes here, and it stops me. I mean, my idea would be to play my rook up there. The knight's defending my rook for the moment, so I don't have to worry about the queen taking the rook. Is there any other way to use that tempo? Well, there's a danger once his bishop is there to take the knight and then take the pawn. Okay, we're going to try a blockading strategy here with the knight. It just looked too dangerous, yeah, with his bishop there. Looked too dangerous. The rook and the bishop coordinating on the f6 square. Was a danger as long as the knight was there. Okay, now I do have some weaknesses. I have a loose rook here and a loose rook here. These are defended. This is protected. Let's double here. I mean, he could give up 2 rooks for a queen and a pawn. Lead to an interesting game. Now my rooks are all connected and protected. So I have a way to increase the pressure, but it involves giving up this pawn. Like if I drop the rook back and I put the bishop here, I'd be threatening to take the knight and then take this pawn. But I don't want to give up this pawn over here. It helps these pawns. Okay, decided to go for it. Well, this is interesting. 2 rooks against a queen. Now the bishop can also go here. Rook here is a mate threat. He takes care of the mate threat. Yeah, that was smart. He should do that. Okay, I'm taking away squares from the knight. I'm going to lift this rook up here. Defend this pawn, although actually I don't strictly need to do that right now. Could just attack his knight directly. I go here, he moves the knight, I take the pawn, he's got a check along this diagonal, can block with my bishop. Well, it depends on where he moves the knight to. Where does the knight go? Here, here, or he defends it. So I don't need this move because I can play that anytime, I guess, to defend, and he's not immediately threatening my pawn. He was threatening it before. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 2 pawns up. How did that happen? Oh, because he traded 2 rooks for a queen and a pawn. So now he's 1 pawn up. And I have the 2 rooks, which are pretty good in an endgame. But they can always get taken. You do have to watch out for those queen checks. But the 2 rooks can kind of gang up on the queen. or on a pawn. Yeah, so the queen is hitting this rook. If I move it to the side, his checks, where are his checks? They're only on this diagonal. So I think it's safe. Check here, king here, check here. Well, this was my idea. Double those rooks. There might have been a sequence of checks that picked off that loose rook there. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I'm going to get one of these pawns, and I'm going to get this one, and then I can double my rooks this way and pick off the remaining pawn. If I'm lucky, I can get into a king and pawn endgame with 2 pawns against 1. Ah, check first. He was going to take the rook. And he would be left with this outside passed pawn, which would be winning. That would be a winning king and pawn endgame. That would be losing. Just because his king could take one rook, I still have the other one. Well, that was a sudden end. Okay, let's go ahead and do the computer analysis on this one. People were asking for that after the last video. Yeah, okay, so it was a draw at the end until he blundered. And then, oh, there was some blunder here we missed. What happened here? I made a mistake. I moved my knight there. Oh, and he could just take it. And he didn't notice that. So aside from that one thing there, yeah, that's pretty bad. Just put the knight where he could take it. Yeah, well, other than that, it seemed like a pretty good game. So see you guys next time. Bye now.